to championship night in Atlanta, Georgia, and let's meet the teams. Johnson, Jefu, and championship night is underway. All season long, and it comes down to this. Most impressive, the National Player Name. It's basketball's greatest night. Underway on Championship Monday.
And here we go. After a tournament worth of exciting games, here we are. It's time to settle the madness.
Listen, here's the thing. If you can't spot the sucker in the player pool, then you are the sucker. Guys around here will tell you. This isn't a game. It's like any other job. You don't gamble, you grind it out. There's no other league in the world where fortunes can change so quickly. A brilliant player can draft a strong team, see his best player go down injured, lose his mind, along with every cent in front of him. That's why the player pool has the reputation it does. Some people, pros even, won't play it. They can't handle the swings. You don't hear much about guys who take their shot and miss, but I'll tell you what happens to them. They end up working crappy jobs in rural North Carolina, trying to figure out how they came up short. See, I had this picture in my head after 2015. Me sitting at the big table every year, everyone looking up to me. And I let that vision blind me. Now, the closest I get to winning is working at these community hospitals. Jobs handed down to player pool players who forget the cardinal rule. Always leave yourself out. I've learned a lot these last 5 years. But finally, I've learned this. There's more to life than winning. And I'm okay with that.
All right, well, here we are. Let's get another day started. See what's gonna happen. We moved down to North Carolina in 2016, so it's been almost 5 years. And you know, it's been good.
You know, we got a front yard, and we got a backyard, and you know, we got a nice little neighborhood. And this is Johnson Health out in Clayton and Smithfield, kind of rural North Carolina. You know, a lot of people might say, you're working pretty far out there, but you know what? It's a great place to work. And that's what I'm doing. I'm getting up every day. I'm going to work. I'm providing for my family. But I have to admit, sometimes I do think about everybody.
Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you guys.
I'm here with the kids, doing a little Shake Shack action.
What were your feelings in 2007 when your friends from the Sweepers started a player pool and didn't invite you?
I've got 2 wives living with me here in Salt Lake, and you know, people say, "Hey Adam, that's way below the average for your area." And yeah, that's true. You know, I've only lived here for several months. You know, things can only get better.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Malatek, the glorious 2016 Player Pool champion.
I think of the player pool, think of victory.
Hey folks, super excited to be joining the player pool this year. It's been a dream of mine for many, many years. As James has been talking about it for a very long time, I've always wanted to partake.
What's it like working with Andrew Lloyd? I can't say enough good things about him. Really easygoing, just a pleasure to work with. And he just always willing to help anytime. Yeah, and he's a very structured guy. I mean, I think he pretty much plans like every minute of the day. And he's always willing to teach.
Pro sucks too.
He's always preparing lectures for us, just to share his knowledge of anesthesia.
and there we were, facing off against the greatest team in Jefferson intramural basketball history.
Always really friendly, and to be frank, his high fives in the morning is what gets me going.
The one thing I really don't understand is he keeps talking about this group of guys, and I don't know who they are, and frankly, I really don't care.
Yeah, Adam, I do talk to Adam, and he's a good friend.
One thing I never really understood was why LeBude didn't play on the sweepers.
Well, when you say the name Alex, what comes to mind is that first title, most points ever scored in a single player pool in the first year, and that's something you don't take away from somebody.
Rob Kinnery, just a fiend.
An absolute animal on the glass. And he's out there in Burlington, North Carolina, living his best life.
To talk about James, you gotta talk about the high post. You just picture him there.
I still have dreams about it. You just see him cutting up from the bottom block, and he's pivoting, and he's facing. He can shoot, he can pass, he can dribble. He can do it all. He's got his head on a swivel.
Does it bother me that Josh has won 4 titles? Of course. Well, the guy was an offensive lineman in college, and I think that says everything about Brian's player pool presence.
Plus, he's just got that body.
And hey, we're gonna find out what Patrick can do. It's that gritty, that tenacity, that Texas in him.
Most of us in the league have been in practice for going on a decade now. And poor Josh was still in training.
Hey guys, would have been a lot cooler without the car seats.
Looking at James's scores, I felt that he needed some help, and so I want to just give you guys a peek inside of how we're going to big data the shit out of the player pool this year. See?
Here's Cats on the break, down in the coffin corner. Finds a cutting Malatak for an easy 2. That's just beautiful sweepers basketball.
And, I think to really understand the Malatak family, we have to go back to its roots.
The name Malatak is derived from the Italian Malataka, and James and Pat's ancestors came over to this country and settled in the coal mining area of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, where James's father grew up. When James's father came to college at Villanova, he met a young, pretty girl from the main line, and she just so happened to be dating future #1 NBA pick Doug Collins. But it just shows you what kind of determination the Malataks have. Because no sooner than they met than they fell in love. The result were 5 beautiful, healthy children.
I've heard rumors that James has hired some sort of player pool Sherpa to help him get back up on top. And that's fine for him. For me, it's not really about winning and losing. It's about the hike. It's about the trip. I like to come up here sometimes, clear my head. I try not to think about what might have been, but rather what could be.
But Alex?
Look, I understand he has 2 beautiful kids, and they're great, and, he's a great husband, and there for his family and all that, but at some point, you have to get back to winning. And I think Alex knows that. And I know he's out there doing everything he can to get back up on top.
I was wondering what I should do to kind of tell you guys how I'm prepping for this year's tournament. I got done work today, a long day of work, doing med recs, listening to other doctors' recommendations and following through on those recommendations.
You have to understand it was a complicated situation at the time with the sweepers. You know, I was already feeling like, as one of the main bench warmers on the team, like in a basketball sense, I was not getting enough respect. I was not getting enough playing time, and I was not happy with that.
You know, diversity and inclusion is very important to me. And, you know, do I hear the complaints about how the player pool isn't as diverse as it should be? Yeah, I do. The youngest head of the department ever, I think. But you know, I just remember those days in Jeff Hall and just seeing him rebound after rebound after rebound. You know, it wasn't the tallest guy, wasn't the strongest guy, but you knew he was going to get that rebound. And he wouldn't stop until he put those two points in the bucket. And, you know, that's how I think of him in the ER.
I don't think many people know this, but as a high schooler, he was, you know, world-class interpretive dancer. You know, and that talent for footwork actually is what got him to be a lineman in college. So, yeah, it just seems like it would have been such a nice fit for Brian to be on the sweepers.
It's 2009, 2012 champ Brian here. I'm at work right now. It's been a long year. Haven't seen each other in a while, but figured I'd send a video just to say hi. You know, show you a little bit of the lair where the magic happens.
So I have a mining rig here that I've converted. Let me show you here.
And, you know, that's what makes James so dangerous. And we know the personality, we know the passion, you know, we know the intelligence, the basketball IQ. And look, now he's bringing his brother in. And, you know, I think this could be the start of something really special.
The softball team title.
So we just moved into this place. We still have a lot of boxes to unpack, but I have set out some of my favorite art pieces already. Here we have some ancient Mayan artifacts that I've recovered from a recent dig.
When I saw that Josh called me a beta cuck. Does that sound like a beta cuck job, Josh?
What motivates you?
Well, that's a good question.
You know, what motivates me? You know, I think what motivates me is, you know, a lot of things.
And then on top of that, for them to form a player pool and invite Dave Goldberg, who wasn't even hardly on the team, to be in it and exclude me, you know, I took that personally. And so I'm sitting there and I have to enter a standard NCAA double tournament pool run by Emily Souter, which, you know, of course I won, but, you know, that didn't really satisfy my competitive urges. So yeah, it hurt me, and I took that to heart, and it's something that's motivated me over the years.
Those are both sitting on top of this ancient Pueblo Indian prayer rug that I found, maybe 2 decades ago. I've had this a long time.
You know, what motivates me most is living a healthy life. You know, you have to treat your body the right way. You have to exercise. You have to get outside. You know, do the things you love. Things that make you feel like a kid again. You know, it's, you know what, we just all get so caught up in winning, we don't stop to sit, do things that bring us joy.
No, I think everyone remembers the 2010 Sweepers Intramural Championship.
And so you see, what you have developing is a quintessentially American story. Coming over to this country and making a new life, making a better life.
And so that bond between James and Patrick was forged between generations, really. And they've been through a lot together. They've played sports together. They've studied together. In a way, you could say that they've been waiting for this their whole life. And I think when you start to look at it in that context, you start to look past the controversy of adding the 9th player to the player pool. You start to think about what player pool really means. And, it really means family.
He's just a man. He's not going to back down. And he's going to kick you in the teeth. He's going to rub your nose in the dirt. He's going to grab you. He's going to bite. He's going to crack, scratch, and claw. That's what we're up against.
You can see I'm repping Jefferson here. We got the diploma. Can't understand any of it. Don't know what these words mean, but we paid a lot, so it's there. It's there. Below it, probably more importantly, we got the thinking chair, the Jefferson thinking chair. This is where I like to sit in between, some tough patients. More importantly, where I can stew over the spreadsheets, think about past years, some better years, some worse years, and look at some of the metrics.
Anyway, when I got done work, I decided that I would head to go get something delicious. You know what that is? That's Chipotle. I'm gonna eat that. The only thing I'm gonna eat is champion this year.
The kickball title.
Bouncing from one room to the next, One rebound to the next. One. No, he's not gonna stop until everyone in that ER is treated appropriately. And I'm thinking about this every day, which is why we're bringing in Patrick this year. He's going to bring a whole new element, a different background, different perspectives on life, and that's what we celebrate in the player pool. And and if that adds to James's prowess, then all the more power to him.
Fortunately, Dave Goldberg couldn't even stick with it and stay with the player pool for another year, and I got my chance in 2008.
And the dodgeball title.
Here comes Lloyd, looking to isolate. Some guy in a yellow shirt thinks he can guard Lloyd because he's in a yellow shirt. And no, he cannot.
But mostly I'm studying for player pool glory.
Why are you doing that?
To ensure Josh does not survive another year in our pool.
What?
That's it.
As my wives will be quick to tell you, I spend the majority of my free time working on my chipping and my putting.
But you don't even play golf.
Yeah, that's true. But between Lloyd, Farage, and Josh, there are 8 player pool championships. And those guys put the short in short game. Up here on the wall, this is a print from an English street artist. The title is Chew Barber.
Not everyone remembers my Jefferson on-campus housing ping pong tournament title.
It's 5:30 in the morning, and today's the start of the big day. It's March 1st.
Is there a time when player pool dominated my life? Probably. You know, but I'm 37 years old now. I have a family, a job, responsibilities. You know, I think I've developed some strategies to help cope with stresses in my life. And, you know, I see things in a new perspective. And there's work to be done. Just can't get up in you. He's gonna lock down on you. He's not gonna let go.
It may look like I'm driving right now, but I'm actually prepping for player pool dominance. Come get it.
I know you guys were asking me about how it was to work with Andrew Lloyd. There's no way he's gonna sing this footage or anything, right? Hey, Andrew, are we going to do the assignments? Okay. Something's changed, and it started out really small. Like he just gets like really frustrated at the littlest things.
What? Okay. Just figure it out. You know what I think? What's really important is having balance.
Maybe his badge is not working, and something that normally like you and I it wouldn't really bother us or whatever. He just like kind of flies off the handle about. And then it's just like progressively gotten worse, where you can't really talk to him or anything.
Can't get too high.
Second row? I'm looking at the second row, Chris. I don't see anything. You're useless! Ugh!
Can't get too low.
I don't know about your guys' office, but I have a good amount of room in here and a lot of silly diplomas. So I tried to use some of the spot for good here. You know, we got the silly diplomas up on the wall. Took one down.
So this is my Bitcoin mining rig. Since Sunday, since we got the brackets out and we knew what we were looking at, I've converted it from mining Bitcoin into actually just simulating many different versions of the tournament.
They need a bucket badly to stay on the court. Malatok finds Lloyd on the baseline. Beautiful reverse layup. That'll help.
He's not afraid. He's not afraid. I think, you know, I think a lot of us, I don't want to name names, but, you know, I think a lot of us are afraid of Josh. And I'll admit it. I see the 4 titles next to his name, and I get a little scared sometimes. And, you know, I doubt myself, and, you know, I work on it. Try to work on my confidence. You know, I don't think that happens with Farage.
So I'm going to announce it here. I'm willing to dedicate my winnings of this year's player pool to the Josh Sommerville Relief Fund.
What did you learn in 2008 in your first player pool?
Carson Edwards here. Best of luck to all you guys on your NCAA player pool except for Dr. Josh. I'm not a fan of you, Josh, at all. Wishing everyone else a successful draft, and again, Dr. Josh, except for you. Cheers to you guys, and hope next time it's in person.
You know what I did after Josh did that, after he said that to me? What the hell that is? That's wood that I hauled today. Some old barn wood that I hauled. You know what that means? I'm planning on building a goddamn house on the top of Mount Player Pool.
Well, we were hoping this move to Utah would sort of represent a fresh start for us. Unlike Philly, here you need to have a car, so I bought an electric, you know, hoping to help the environment. At the time, I didn't think that you had to charge it for so many hours.
And then this is sort of the rec room. This is the part of the office where I like to think about, you know, NCAA, think about the tournament, come up with a game plan.
I slept the most during anatomy class out of anyone in the class. I think that title still holds up.
So, you know, we got to try and make some connections. So here's me down here. You already knew that. So found that guy. So I figured, why don't we try and see if we can connect to some of the better years.
So 2008 was a tough year. I mean, it was the first year that they let me in, so I was I guess happy about that. But I was highly motivated to win, and I wasn't able to achieve that. And you know, it was a learning experience for me.
But he's also got that creativity, you know, and I think that's something that's maybe overlooked. You know, I compare him to Lionel Messi.
We got 2009, 2012. My guys, my MVPs. We got 2009 Brian MVP, Sam Young from University of Pittsburgh. We got 2012 Brian MVP, Duran Lamb from Kentucky. Look at that smile. So any connections? Maybe. So I work in Clinton, Maryland. Who's from Clinton, Maryland? Sam Young. Does that mean anything or matter? Probably not, but this is what I think about during the day when I'm not sending messages or looking at Twitter or seeing patients, so that's there.
You know, he's not afraid to take a charge. We all know that. Oh, come on, man. You know, it's a battle cry. It's an anthem, and you know, I wish all of us had that. But you know, that's what makes it special that we don't.
I went in there thinking that I could, you know, do a bunch of fancy math and pick the good college players, but that wasn't enough to get it done. And what I learned was, you know, you don't win the player pool with your fancy spreadsheets like Andrew Farich or by drafting your white-ass UVA players like Alex Katz. You win it with your Quindary Witherspoons. You win it with your Gary Payton Jr.'s. You win it with your Isaiah Thomases. You win it with people with NBA pedigree or whose name reminds you of NBA players of years past. And so I learned from that point on that was going to be my North Star. And I knew at the time, even though I wasn't successful that year, I knew that it was going to carry me to multiple victories, which it has.
You know, he's got that hair, that wonderful hair, that wonderful southern hair. And, you know, it's just flowing. It's flowing. And he's the Lionel Messi of the player pool.
It may look like I'm at dinner with my father-in-law and wife, but actually I'm studying. Josh.
What motivates you?
Nothing short of utter domination.
What are your fondest player pool memories?
Well, Tyler Hansborough, his epic run that brought me a championship gold to the player pool. And I have a lot of fond memories of that Ohio State team with Greg Oden that took me so close, only to get put to sleep by the dominance of Joakim Noah's led Florida team. But that was a great run.
Congrats on another NCAA player pool tournament from the legendary Greg Oden, myself. I want to wish everyone luck except for Dr. Josh Samamovila. I don't like that guy. I don't like his last name. I can't pronounce it. Please don't go easy on him because he can't find a collateral surgery job. So sad. You're gonna get one though one of these days.
And I was thinking, as I often do, of my championship in 2016. Hello, Lydia. And I'll have to say that it was the greatest of the championships. Do you know why? Because it was a double championship. Villanova won, and I won the player pool.
You know, the most important thing to me is that, you know, I don't bring it home with me at the end of the day.
I don't know why he's always talking about someone named Josh.
I mean, I've proven that I can win multiple times, but I just want to see all these other guys squirm. I want to see these guys suffer. I mean, you know, Adam Zom, great guy. Love him to death. Love what he does for the player pool. But I have to say, I want to see that guy never win. I want to take it from him every year. And, you know, the Andrews, Brian, James, great guys. Love them to death. But when it comes to the player pool, I gotta win it every time, and I don't want anyone to even have a chance of thinking that they can take that from me.
Oh, this is one of my favorite pieces. This is a uniform of the Sweepers from their famous championship run. This was actually a gift of Rob, and he sent a very nice note along with it. He says, "Dear Dr. Zom, you were by far the most dominant defensive post presence I had to face in my 4-year Jefferson career. Even better than that Phil guy. I simply would not be the player or person I am today if not for your steady influence. Please accept this jersey as a small token of my appreciation. Sincerely yours, Rob K. P.S. The K stands for Krzyzewski, even though my birth name was Kinner, because I love that guy. He's the greatest."
So I think what you have seen here is this, out of this milieu, out of these ingredients thrown into a boiling cauldron and stirred up and tasted and seasoned over the years. You know, I think this is where the Malatek brothers come from. It's really just a fascinating story. And, you know, if you had told Vincenzo Malatacca back in 1890 that within 120 years, 130 years, his two ancestors would be competing for the Player Pool Championship together, I'm not sure he would have believed you. And he moved to Utah, and you know, I just wish everybody would get off his back about not having won a title. Nobody knows that more than him.
You know, before I joined the player pool, I think the winners were Alex and Andrew Farage. And so some people think that makes me the only non-winner of player pool, but it's clear that Alex Katz has never triumphed when I'm around. So
That's right. I beat all the progs.
And I think that's important because, let's be honest, not everyone can do this job.
No. And I'm the only one of this crew to have successfully beaten David Goldberg in a player pool.
That's not happened. That's not happened. I started thinking about the number 2 because it was a double championship. I've got 2 children. I got 2 eyes. I got 2 testicles. Okay? And now, with my brother, you got 2 Malateks you're going to have to deal with.
You know, he's got that Texas in him. You know, that kind of put my hat on my head. I'm gonna just rope some cattle. You come on my land, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna have some laws to back me up. I'm gonna do it. And it takes a toll over time.
I don't think my dad's won the player pool in 5 or 6 years.
But, you know, I'm human. Pressure gets to me.
Yeah, my dad gets sad about it sometimes, but I try to cheer him up. but I still believe in him.
Recording all that data and, just trying to simulate our picks. I suspect that the net result will be similar to the Warriors when they realized that just shooting a crap ton of threes is what was key to winning a bunch of titles. It's going to be like that for the player pool. So super excited and can't wait for this thing to start.
Basketball is sometimes about the yin and the yang. So here we go. We got the Ying, the Nerd Squad, as they're affectionately known around here in Maryland. We got Ken Palm on the top, Chief Nerd, and then we got our guy, Dr. Adam Zom, Mountain West. It's getting so emotional, my voice cracked a little bit. So they're the Ying, and then of course the Yang. Everyone knows who the Yang is. The Yang Gang. We got the Legacy Bully Metrics team. Dr. Josh Somamamamamamamamavela. It's weird. When you look up this guy online, he's got this 1 star. Is that cancel culture? I don't know. Who knows? We'll ask him. We'll see.
And how has missing last year changed you?
It hasn't changed me at all. I'm just as hungry as ever.
What are your goals for the future?
Goals for the future really would be to overtake Josh in the player pool victory, take over the crown. I'd really like to play another game of pickup with the sweepers and send his little baby hook shot into the rafters once again.
We've been putting in this simulations, and I'm pretty goddamn confident. I'm at the end of this March/April tournament. There'll be 2 Malatex champions and 2 Jimmy Malatek player pool champions.
So do you have any advice for your competitors who are looking for their first taste of player pool glory?
Yeah, I guess there are a couple of ways that these people can go with this. Either you gotta learn how to hack it in the big leagues and take a more cutthroat approach to how you draft your team and how you motivate your players during the tournament to produce for you. Or maybe you gotta find a new pool to go into where you're playing against lower competition where you've got a chance of maybe winning a time or two.
So yeah, I kind of figured out why he was acting like this, because of all the craziness that he's projecting on everyone. It's because of the March Madness players pool. And I get it. I can't blame the guy for acting like that, because I know deep down he's a good guy, and I wish all the best for him.
So the Cats family's ready, and this year the title's coming to Bethesda, Maryland.
Which player pool participants do you particularly dislike?
In all seriousness, I really miss you guys. I look forward to hanging out again, and hopefully this year is a better year. See you soon.
We won a championship together. These guys all go back with me. The sweeper days back in med school. Nobody thought we could do it. We had more knee braces than any other team by a long shot. We had women on the team. We did a little recruiting. We won it, and I gotta say it's really a good group of people, outside of Josh, obviously, which none of us like, but I'd have to say that. And Brian really wasn't a sweeper, but he's become an honorary sweeper. Cheers, Brian. It's been fun having you in the pool.
So, as Johnny Utah would say, to everyone else, vaya con Dios.
And thank you to the wives and girlfriends in the player pool. Jess and Virginia, Aaron and Hope, Laura, Julia, Alexia, and Dina. Thank you for making the player pool a part of your life as well as ours. And most importantly of all, to the next generation. Fiona and Sloan, Natalie and Simone, Lucas and Harrison, Elias and Harlan, William and Henry, Marie and Lizzie. The player pool is our gift to you.
Is there anyone you'd like to thank for your player pool success?
Well, I mean, I do deserve the bulk of the credit myself, but I can't say that I've done all of the work on my own. I mean, you've done a lot of research for me in past years trying to find me, you know, diamonds in the rough as far as NBA pedigrees buried in the rosters of college teams. So let me ask you, have you, everyone, this is my wife, Hope. Hope, have you been able to find me any good NBA talent yet this year for the upcoming player pool draft?
Well, I have looked a little bit into it. I kind of thought that I was maybe finding Walt Frazier.
Wait a minute, hold on. A little bit? You're supposed to be doing, you know, multiple hours a week of research for me.
Well,
What's going on here?
I do have things to do, and I do have a job to do, and
You have a job that's as important as my player pool victory? You know that I have the potential to win, you know, a couple $100 on this thing.
Right. I guess so. I guess that I'll try to prioritize it.
So what is it? What is it? This lead that you found me? This is great. I'm excited.
I did find a lead of Walt Frazier's great.
Oh, Walt Frazier has a kid in college basketball?
A great nephew.
Tell me more. Yeah.
I thought that was a lead, but it turns out it was Joe Frazier's great nephew.
God damn you!
I know.
You're fucking useless. Why can't you find me any goddamn player pool talent?
I think I.
Guys, we gotta end this interview. I gotta talk to my wife off camera for a moment. God damn.
They're not going to foul him. It's only right. The ball's in his hands. A milestone victory for Arizona. Simon says championship. It's DeJacobs the Drew for the win. Good! He did it! Right you see the time. Wittenberg. Oh, it's a long way. They won it! Wins this one. Henry going the distance. Yes! 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship. 1 second left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. Tony flushed. Throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it. It's a touchdown. The Eagles win it. That ball hit high and deep. Stretch. Stretch. Get on back there. They look up. You can. Put it on the board. Yeah. Yeah. Gettysburg. And down the stretch they come in the Kentucky Derby. And Barbaro is running away. It's Edgar Prado aboard. And Barbaro is going to win this Derby by 6 lengths. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Watford for the win. Yes! Yes! Unbelievable!
Because I'll be honest, this job's stressful. Well, the guy was an offensive lineman in college, you know, and I think that says everything about Brian's player pool presence. You know, he's got that tenacity. You know, he's willing to get in the dirt and. Because you know, he's got the body is hard to ignore. Well, the guy was an offensive lineman in college, you know, and I think that says everything about Brian's player pool presence. You know, he's got that tenacity. You know, he's willing to get in the dirt and. Well, the guy was an offensive lineman in college, and you know, I think that says everything about Brian's player pool presence. You know, he's got that tenacity. He's just got that.
What the fuck?
Well, I mean, the guy was an offensive lineman in college, so I think that says everything you need to know about Brian's player pool presence. You know, he's got that tenacity. He's not afraid to punch you.